Hi, so this is a quick tutorial on how to use the gradebook feature of Blackboard. So once we are on the Blackboard page for the course that you want to use the gradebook for, let's go to Control Panel, and from the Control Panel go to Grade Center. Okay, so this is what the default Grade Center looks like. You should see the names of all your students here, and then for each assignment or test we can start adding a grade column, right? So let's add a couple of grade columns here. So let's add a grade column, and for the first grade, let's call it an assignment 1. Okay, so it's going to be assignment 1, and we want to display it as a score grade. So you can have a score or a letter grade, or a percentage, or just simply a complete or incomplete. Let's leave it to score, and points, the number of points possible. Let's say we want this assignment of 100. Submit. Right, so it gives you assignment 1, and then you can add another column grade. Let's call this assignment 2, and let's say this assignment is out of 50 points. Okay, and again this is a score grade, and submit. Right, so now we have our assignments, and to actually assign a score to every student, let's say the first student, we assign a score. So we just go and click in the text box and put the score right in. So right below in the status bar, it kind of gives you a hint as this is out of 100 points. So let's say the first student got 90 out of 100. The second one, it's asking you whether you want to commit to change the grade. Sure. So saves the grade. Oh, why did that become a minus? Well, we don't want a minus 90, just a 90. Hit return. Okay. And the second student, let's say, got an 80. And the third student, let's say, scored a perfect 100. Okay. And for the second assignment, again, this is out of 50, so let's give students some grades out of 50. So 45, and you did really poor at 20 points, and let's say this student did well at 50 again. Okay, so these are the raw grades. Now we can also add a calculated column. So this is where you can have a weighted average, a regular average, total, minimum, maximum, and things like that. So let's take a simple average first. Okay, so if we add an average, so we go to calculated column, click on average. So this is an average column that we are adding. So we can say, this was the average grade. Now the trick to this is really you have to tell you can tell Blackboard which columns to do the average on. So in the select columns, you can select all the gradable columns, or you can just select which ones you want to use. So we say select gradable columns and categories. So assign 1 and assign 2 are the two columns, right? So we select assign 1, and the selected columns appear on the right hand side box. So we want to move assign 1 from the left to the right using this arrow pointing to the right. So we click on this. So now it's assignment 1 has been selected as the column we want to average on. And also let's add assignment 2. So now this column that we are just creating, the average grade column, is going to be the average of these two grades, right? Submit, and there you go. It's giving you the average in percentage. Okay, it's giving you the average in percentage. You can always go and modify this column. So if you click on these two little arrows here, it'll just give you either just column information, what this is. It's displaying as a percentage. If you want to modify it, you can go back to modify, and instead of displaying at a percentage, you can display it as a score. Okay, what's the average score? In this case, the average score really won't make much sense because one of the assignments was out of 100 and the other was out of 50. So really, just averaging the raw scores is not going to tell you much. So really a percentage score is probably better in this case. Okay, so we can just leave it unchanged and go back to submit. You can get a little bit more sophisticated by adding also a weighted calculated column. Okay, so let's say this is a weighted grade in which you can decide, again, this can be a percentage or this can be a score, and then you need to select which of the columns you want to use for your weighted grade. So again, we want to weight on assignment 1 and assignment 2. Okay, it doesn't make sense to assign weights on average grade. So how much do you want to weigh the first column, the first assignment and the second assignment? So let's say the first assignment was out of 100 points, so we really want to give it let's say more weight. So we want to give it, let's say, 66% weight, and the second we want to give it 34%, right? Because this really must add up to 100, right? Because percentages should add up to 100. And submit, and there you go. So this is the weighted average, right? So over here you see that the weighted average actually differs slightly from just the regular average. So you can keep adding different kinds of calculated columns, so you can have a simple minimum maximum grade. And of course all this is live, in the sense that if you go and change the grade here, so instead of 20 you decide that the student only actually got a 10, you return and it updates the grades. So there you go. You have a weighted you have a dynamic grade center here. You can email the reports, you can create reports on how your students are doing. You can do actually a lot more. You can hide columns. There are all sorts of things, like you can go and remove this column if you want to. You can just hide it and then of course see it again. So hopefully this helps. Bye.